Today I'm going to be going over Google Ads call assets, also called call extensions. So they were previously referred to as ad extensions. They are now called assets. So when you are in your Google Ads account, you're going to see assets here, and this is where you're going to find call assets. Now, before we do that, one of the things I would recommend doing if calls are one of the important conversions or key performance indicators for your business, and if you're using call assets, I would assume that they are, is you want to come over to goals here and go to conversions and go to summary. And you want to make sure that you have a phone call lead conversion action here. So it's very easy to set up. I just recently set one up. And if you click on new conversion action here, all you have to do is choose phone calls here and then select the source of the phone calls you'd like to track. The very top option is what we want to do. Calls from ads using call extensions or call only ads. So you'll see call extensions, call assets. Basically, those terms are used interchangeably. If you're interested in these other two options, calls to a phone number on your website or clicks on your number on your mobile website, I do have a video on my channel showing you how to do that. Google Ads Phone Call Conversion Tracking 2023, how to track phone calls from your website. I will link that in the video description. So if you're focused on getting people to your website or you're trying to drive calls directly from your ads, this is the way to do it, making sure that you're tracking all of those different phone calls as conversions. In this case, we're going to do calls from ads using call extensions or call only ads. Click on continue, and what you need to do is the goal and action optimization. What I would recommend is if this is one of the main goal conversion goals for your business, use this as a primary action used for bidding optimization. If it's just something you would rather observe and you don't want to actually optimize your bids for phone calls, you can use it as a secondary action that's not used for your bidding optimization. So that is one option that you have. I recommend generally using it as a primary action, but it just depends on what your main key performance indicators are. What are your main goals and objectives from your Google Ads campaigns? Name your conversion. So it could be literally phone calls from call assets or call only ads, call assets phone calls. So whatever you want to name your conversion here, set a value. I would recommend just using the same value, setting that value to 1. So when a conversion does happen, it only counts as 1. Because unless you're making sales over the phone, you generally don't want to use a different value for each of your conversion actions. If you know that the average phone call to your business is worth $25, then put $25 here. Keep scrolling down, and when it comes to count, I always choose 1 for phone calls because they are considered leads. So if somebody calls you twice, and they end up clicking on multiple ads, calling you twice through your advertisements, you generally don't want to count that one customer as 2 different conversions. So just set the count to 1 because it would be a lead category. And then the 3 different options you have are call length. So how long does the call need to be to count as a conversion? Click through conversion window here. So I generally just leave this as is. This really depends on your preference, but I generally leave it at 30 days. You can always change this over time. And then I use the data-driven attribution model. So that will look at all the clicks along the path to a conversion and give credit based on when that actual conversion happened. So attribution, I would choose that. I'm going to click on cancel because I've already created my conversion action here. For mine, I had it set to 90 seconds. I have a 30-day conversion window. Value is 1, and the source is going to be calls from ads. And it's going to count 1 conversion instead of every conversion. So now what we want to do is you can either set up a brand new search campaign if you don't have one already. I will put a link in the video description showing you how to set up a search campaign. But if we come over here to our campaign screen, we open up our existing search campaign. What you can do is come down here to assets, and you can create a new call asset. If you already have a call asset, click here and it should show up. So I have one added to the campaign level. It's perfectly fine. We'll click to add a new call asset. You have a few different options. One is creating an account level call asset. One is a campaign level call asset, and the other is an ad group level call asset. If you have certain ad groups that are more geared towards actually driving phone calls for your business, you can set these at the ad group level. Generally, I use these at the campaign level because if I have a campaign where I'm trying to drive leads, whether it's contact form submissions, whether it's somebody starting a free trial, somebody booking an appointment, or somebody making a phone call, I don't usually have those separated at the ad group level. So I generally use these at the campaign level, and what you want to do with an asset is create new or use existing if you already have one created. So I do have one created here, so I can select this, but let's create a new one just to go over the different things you need to in order to create your call assets. And what we're going to do is come over here, make sure you have your correct phone number. Now, this is not a real phone number. This is not a real offer. This only exists for tutorials. So make sure you select your phone number here. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste our phone number. And you're going to see call reporting is turned on. So what that means is find out when calls are made, the duration of the calls, and the caller's area code. This includes reporting for calls from Google's ad formats. So call reporting is turned on means that Google will actually use a forwarding number. So when somebody is on a desktop device or on their desktop, for example, they see a phone number associated with our advertisement and they just dial that phone number just directly from their phone without clicking on any advertisements, Google is able to track that. So that is how call reporting works, is they use call forwarding numbers. Now we're going to scroll down here. Conversion action. Now what you can do is just choose calls from ads here, but we set up our conversion action already. So I generally recommend setting up a conversion action. So I just have mine call assets or call only ads. So every 90-second phone call is going to count as a conversion. Call interaction bid adjustment. You can actually adjust your bids based on location or device. So if you want to adjust your bids for mobile devices or something like that, you can do that. I generally don't use bid adjustments too often because I'm using smart bidding strategies. So I have conversion tracking, smart bidding strategies. If I do say, okay, when people are on mobile devices, as we start getting more data, and I see, okay, mobile device calls are the best performing or the worst performing, that is when you would want to either increase or decrease your bids based on your bid adjustments. Now, last but not least, under advanced options, very important here, you want to make sure you only set up your call asset to run when you're actually answering the phone. If you have a 24-hour call center, you can do all days, all times, and not worry about your ad schedule at all. But what we can do is we can set a call asset schedule to say Monday through Friday, and you can just come in here and say, okay, we start answering the phone call at 8 a.m. This is going to be based on your account time zone. I am in the Eastern time zone, so I can go 8 a.m. and then just set, and maybe I answer the phone call until 6 p.m. So we will do 1800 hours here, so we have military time. So 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So what we can do is click on save, and now we have our call asset added to the ad group level. Wouldn't recommend using multiple call assets at the campaign level. You generally just need one call asset here. Doesn't really make sense to use two, so we'll only set one for right now. It's pending under review. And now once it is actually accepted, what's going to happen is if we just click on edit here real quick, we have our advertisements here. Now it's not going to show for every single advertisement on desktop and on mobile. This is a mobile example. So if we come down here, you can see headline 1, headline 2, headline 3. So our responsive search ads are going to include assets. So these right here look like site link assets. These are structured snippet assets. We have some call out assets here, the description lines. These are not going to show up on every single advertisement. So you just want to make sure you understand that this is not always going to show on mobile devices or on desktop devices, but it is just another way to drive more phone calls for your business. And obviously if phone calls lead to conversions for your business and new customers, this is something that you would want to do. Over time, as you collect more data and we go into our assets report, we can scroll down here. You can actually see how this is performing. So impressions, phone calls, clicks, and then conversions. So the conversions will be tied back to the conversion action we created at the very beginning of this video. Now, if you're interested, I just recently set up a call-only ad campaign and did a tutorial for that. So you can find that tutorial on my channel as well. If we come in here to, okay, we go to all campaigns here and we come over, you can see I created a call-only ad campaign. These are mobile-only campaigns, so they're only going to run on mobile devices, and all of the ads are call-only ads. So it basically shows our phone number and then shows a headline, some description lines. We can have a final URL there, and then you also have to have a verification URL so that Google Ads can actually go to your page and make sure that you're using the correct phone number. So those are call-only ads. They are separate from call assets. Truthfully, I prefer just creating search campaigns and using call assets rather than call only ads. So it's really a matter of preference. It's a matter of what your actual goals are. I've had advertisers that just say, I want one thing, and that's phone calls. So in that case, you may want to use call only ads, and then you're able to bid more aggressively on mobile devices, but you can still also set up a separate campaign and run both of those campaigns side by side without any issues. But generally what I would recommend is if you are bidding on specific keywords, so within your campaign, so let's come over to our campaign here, we'll open up one of our ad groups, and we'll come down here to our search keywords. So one thing to keep in mind is if you are targeting some of these keywords in a call-only campaign and you're also targeting them in a separate search campaign, truthfully, I would rather just use call assets than have a separate call-only ads campaign, but it is really a matter of preference. Now, last but not least, one of the things that you can do is if you are running an existing search campaign and you don't want that search campaign to run on mobile devices, you could either do it at the campaign level or at the ad group level. Go to Insights and Reports, When and Where Ads Showed, click on Devices, and what you can do is come over here to mobile phones and do your bid adjustment and just select Decrease and do 100%. A $10 bid will become $0. And now you can ensure that people on mobile devices, when they search your targeted keywords, will see your call only ad, and people on desktop devices will see your actual search ad that would show your phone number and allow people to go to your website. So that is one option to also use bid adjustments along with your call assets. So if you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.